Hi guys, welcome back to The Goods and this week's movie review. Warcraft. Now, this film has actually been in development for roughly 10 or so years, and it seemed like one of those video game movies that it was never actually going to see the light of day or make it to the movie screen. So it's really great that we get a chance to actually see this be completed and out there for all you World of Warcraft fans. Now, I'm not a big World of Warcraft, actually I'm not a World of Warcraft fan. I don't play the games. I wasn't really interested in the lore. So when the trailers came out for this, and actually when I saw the trailers and I saw some of the CGI in it, I wasn't really that excited about it, and I really didn't have an invested interest in the Warcraft franchise. So kind of really was on the fence about if I wanted to go ahead and see this movie, but I hadn't seen it. I don't really know much about it, so I had to give it an opportunity. So that brings me to why I'm really excited to tell you guys what I thought of this film. So going on into this film, the cast of the movie, I would normally tell you who's in it and what characters they play, but once again, not being a fan of Warcraft, I gotta tell you the character names were super difficult either to remember or to pronounce. So we're not even gonna do that in this review. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna tell you who's in this film, and then I'm gonna give you nicknames for them. So let's start with Ben Foster. Ben Foster, we're going to call him the Magic Dude. He was the Magic Dude in this film. He was the magician, the warlock. I think they call him the Guardian. Other people that's in this film, we had Paula Patton, and Paula Patton, we're gonna call her the hot orc girl. And if you're familiar with Paula Patton, everything that she's in, she's the hot girl, and even dressed in green paint, she is still hot as the orc girl. We also have Travis Fimmel, and Travis Fimmel is from Vikings, if you're a fan of that show on the History Channel. He's also in this. We're gonna call him the Night Guy. And if you're a S.H.I.E.L.D. fan or a Marvel fan, we had a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reunion where we get Ruth Negga, and we also get Dominic Cooper back together, more or less, as a king and queen in, I guess, in the land of Azeroth. Guys, I'm trying to get a few of them in here if you're Warcraft fans, so that way you don't think I'm just completely forgetting about you guys, your guys' franchise. But that brings us to the plot of this film. So the plot of this film is that we have this civilization of orcs, and the orcs are leaving their dying lands to basically invade and take over Azeroth. Now, I know that seems generic and it seems a little simple or short, but that's all they really set you up at the beginning of this film. You really don't find out too much until you get somewhat into the film. So I'm not going to go too far in it because I think that'll be a little bit too much of a spoiler. So I'll let you guys experience that. But that's basically our premise and setup for Warcraft. Now, as we do in every review, we talk about what were the goods and the bads. So starting with the goods of this film is that the CGI was awesome. And I know I said in the trailers I wasn't super excited to see it because of what they showed, but they worked to the wire and got it done because the orcs looked amazing. The scenes that they were on screen, you totally bought and believed it. You never said them there. It's like, oh, it's a CGI character, blah, blah. I think they were on pace with, or maybe a little bit better than what Marvel does with the Hulk. So it was really, I never took you out of the movie seeing them on screen. Also, too, the special effects with the magic, I thought was awesome. I've watched a lot of fantasy films, and what they do with magic and Lord of the Rings is a good example, and this topped it. The lighting effects and how magic was used, it was just great. I really enjoyed that. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, since I like fantasy films, and this was a fantasy film, this really made you harken back to Lord of the Rings. I mean, it had eagles in it, it had orcs in it, it had magicians in it, and it had knights, and I guess you would kind of relate those to rangers. And if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, that's basically a Lord of the Rings checklist that I just gave you. That's all in this film. So I really got a kick out of that. It gave me another Lord of the Rings that wasn't The Hobbit, which I wasn't a big fan of The Hobbit, but that's not this review. Other things that I found great with this film was the fighting scenes. The fight scenes between the knights and the orcs, the fight scenes between the orcs and the orcs, versus magicians. I think everything went well. It was really choreographed well, and in some places it got even pretty brutal. So if you have little kids, I probably wouldn't take them to see this film. Maybe your, preteen kids are good with it, but the fight scenes were really, really way better than I expected for a video game film. And whoever choreographed this, thumbs up. You guys did a great job. So I'm gonna stop right there with the goods, because once again, we don't spoil in this film and this movie review, but we're gonna bring us to the bads. And the bads of this film, when I was describing the plot, I gave you a basic, small, simple plot to kind of set up what the movie was about. Unfortunately, that's what they give you in the film too. You wait till about halfway through the film before you really realize what's going on. I mean, they leave somewhere to get here, but you don't understand why, what they're here for, what's their whole motivation and purpose. So I think it was really designed for somebody who actually played the game, as not as for a person who just wanted to see this film. It would seem like there was a lot of backstory missing, and I will give them this, is that, it's about a 2-hour film, so to spend too much time giving this backstory to set up this film, made it run way too long, and where you're like, this movie's too long. So I get it, but if you sit with it and just kind of go with what they give you on screen, it does pay off. You do kind of figure out what's going on, and it makes the ending pretty good. The ending sets up for a sequel, but as in all these films, when don't they do that? Other things that I didn't like about this film, nothing. Actually, to be honest, I really like this movie. And I know that coming out, there was a lot of mixed reviews with this. I'm going to be on the side of the person who said it was a great movie, even not being a World of Warcraft fan. This was a good film. It was entertaining. Like I said, I've been dealing with C+ films like the last month or so. This is a solid B movie. I mean, not a B movie, but it gets a grade of B as far as movie. Like I said, if we'd have done a little bit more with the backstory, they would have worked it in with narration or something like that, it'd have been a great film for me. I would totally enjoy it. I can't actually wait till we see a sequel come out, which with the early numbers that are coming out, seems like it's doing really well. So hopefully that's in the works. But that's all I got to talk to you guys about Warcraft. So as always, make sure you comment, like, and always subscribe. I do want to know what you guys felt about this film, being Warcraft fans. Do you felt like it was true to the source material, to the lore with Warcraft, or if it was totally different? And if you're not a Warcraft fan, did you enjoy it? What did you like about it? But we'll start a discussion when you guys put it down there. But that's all I got for this week. I guess I'll see you guys as soon as I watch another movie. Take it easy.